to For Real. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for the News Moto, where you get to watch footage of a ride in Cambodia, and I update you on the news of the week. We're going to alternate between Jeremy's rides and guest rides from other channels when we have them, but this week we have something a little different. Today's ride is, as you can see, not actually a ride. It features footage from the giant puppet parade that was held in Siem Reap on Saturday night. I hope you enjoy it, as being there in person was wonderful. At For Real, we donate all of the money we earn from YouTube to charities in Cambodia. Here is the total we've donated so far. Simply watching our videos helps us to earn this money, so your time here on our channel directly helps people in Cambodia. Please subscribe if you haven't already. There's a tiny little button in the bottom right of the screen where you can do it right now. Today is Wednesday the 15th of March, and in this episode we will take to the streets of Siem Reap in search of as many puppets as we can find. We'll see what caused a big fire in the Siem Reap royal residence, check in with some airlines that are reinstating flights to Cambodia, some good news for those of you who will be coming from Europe. We'll look at some aid money that is going toward litter minimisation and prevention of plastic burning. If you have a neighbour that does this frequently, you'll be pleased to hear about this. Giant puppets invaded the streets of Siem Reap after not being sighted in town since 2019. The co-director of the Puppet Project said, "After the isolation from the 3-year global pandemic, we felt it was the perfect time to shake the dust off, plug into youthful energy, highlight the resilience of our community, and reinstate the much-loved and highly acclaimed Giant Puppet Parade." The Giant Puppet Project is the largest children's community arts initiative in Cambodia. It has been teaching children and youth that art can enrich their lives, give voice to their imaginations, ignite pride in their rich heritage, and unite their communities. And never has this felt more vital than now. The theme of this year's Puppet Project was Brave Khmer. The project culminated in the much-loved street parade where hundreds of children and adults, Khmer and expats alike, paraded the puppets through the streets of Siem Reap. The procession began outside Wat Damnak. Then it wound its way through downtown streets, with large crowds cheering on the throngs of children, musicians and performers who electrified the night with their contagious joy and enthusiasm. We spoke to some tourists who had no idea why there were so many people lining the streets, and they were just delighted to be spontaneously part of this amazing event. This year there were 7 giant puppets: a seated monk, a farmer watering his crops, a mother tending to her children, a fish, a bird, a bug and a snake. More than 420 children helped to make the puppets, and they came from over a dozen local schools and NGOs, including Heartprint and Reach. It was a fantastic night, and word is that it will be held in February next year. As soon as we know the date, we'll let you know. It's a feel-good event, and everyone was in very high spirits that night. Unfortunately, the next story lit up the night as well. A fire engulfed one of the buildings in Siem Reap's royal residence. Firefighters battled the blaze, which had flames over 9 metres high. It took over 2 hours and involved nearly 5 trucks before it was quelled. Sadly, the building was completely destroyed by the inferno. The royal residence in Siem Reap City was built in the early 1900s and comprises 2 buildings, one large and the smaller one, which was the one destroyed by the fire. The residence was used by King Father Norodom Sihanouk during his first reign from 1941 until 1955. And later again in 1993 to 2004. Now to some good news. Many airlines have resumed flights to and from Cambodia, and others are even looking at starting new flight routes. Qatar has announced that it will resume flights between Doha and Phnom Penh in October. This year, several Chinese airlines have revived flights to Cambodian cities. China Eastern Airlines has resumed flights to Siem Reap. Riel Airlines relaunched flights between Kunming and Sihanoukville, and Hainan Airlines restarted services linking Shenzhen and Phnom Penh. 2 Indonesian airlines are also reportedly exploring air connectivity with Cambodia. Cambodia Angkor Air has plans to establish a second headquarters in China. It has recently started flights to Haikou and looks to open routes to Hangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing and Singapore. Cambodia Airways is also in the mix. It has been operating flights between the 2 Chinese cities of Shenzhen and Chengdu from Phnom Penh, and plans to add Beijing. The Phnom Penh-Beijing route will be launched soon. 78 poor families have received a plot of land from the government, with the plots located in Siem Reap Province's Riel village. The families will also receive a new house with a bathroom at a cost of $13,000, and the government will provide the necessary infrastructure. The families had previously occupied state land in Slokram in Siem Reap City and Nakor Tom, most of which is part of the Angkor Archaeological Park. The government provided a plot of land and will build a house for each family, along with other infrastructure such as a healthcare centre, public school, and roads for their new village in Sambor Commune, which is also in Siem Reap district but south of the town. There are also plans to build a road, green space, and install electricity supply to each house. Let's hope it all goes well for those families. Littering is an important issue for Cambodia, so it's good to see that the US Embassy is going to help. They have launched a Talk to Stop Littering campaign to reduce single-use plastic, stop littering, and perhaps most importantly, stop burning plastic waste. If you've ever breathed in the toxic fumes from a roadside burn, fueled by a large mound of polystyrene, that will be music to your ears. Funded by the USAID, the campaign is aimed at changing the mindsets and behaviours of Cambodians when it comes to disposal of rubbish. The campaign involves distributing content through social media, disseminating scientific information about the impacts of littering, and offering methods to manage waste and trash. Over the last 10 years, USAID has contributed $100 million to preserve and protect Cambodia's environment and natural resources. It's great to see this ongoing commitment. Another problem in Cambodia, particularly in Phnom Penh, is parking and traffic congestion. The Minister of Interior has urged the private sector to invest in the development of public parking lots to lessen traffic congestion on roads in the capital. Public and private companies must have sufficient parking lots to continue to promote the development of transport and infrastructure in Phnom Penh, including water transport to avoid traffic congestion and improve traffic safety. City Hall has been instructed to inform the public through education to understand and respect the traffic law while strictly enforcing the implementation of administrative and legal measures for traffic offenders. In the past, the Phnom Penh Capital Administration has launched public city buses to avoid traffic congestion, issued monthly instructions to business owners not to park on the roadside, and instructed traffic police to penalise those who violate the laws. According to a Public Works Ministry report, the number of newly registered vehicles last year totalled over 640,000, and that consisted of 16,000 heavy vehicles, 93,000 cars, and 531,000 motorbikes. From 1990 until now, there have been more than 5 million motorcycles registered in the kingdom, increasing by more than 300,000 to 400,000 vehicles per year. These bikes and cars will not need a car park, but a scrapyard instead. It's time for moto madness. 2 men and a woman were seriously injured when their moto was hit by a speeding driver in Phnom Penh. The traffic accident happened along Mao Zedong Boulevard, next to the fence of Wat Tultumpong. Sources at the scene said they saw a man driving a black Lexus CT200H, driving from Route 143 at high speeds. He smashed into a passing moto, seriously injuring 3 people. Hopefully they will be able to recover quickly. The driver was detained by bystanders and handed over to police. An out-of-control driver in Phnom Penh caused scenes of chaos after he smashed into multiple parked motos. The incident took place along Concrete Road No. 5 in Phnom Penh. According to sources at the scene, the man, who was described as being visibly intoxicated, lost control of his Great Wall vehicle while travelling at speed. He then smashed into a parked row of motos, damaging at least 7 of them. Now an Only in Cambodia story. Officials, as well as ordinary citizens in Sen Monorom City, expressed their outrage as a barbed wire fence was erected to encroach on the prison grounds from the east and encroach into at least half of the public road. A man came forward to acknowledge that the land, which is about 2 metres wide next to the prison fence from the east, was the land he had bought and occupied since the 1980s, but has no plan for it. Maybe he could set up a tunnelling business, or perhaps a ladder business. A director of Mondulkiri Provincial Prison confirmed that the construction of the fence affected the security of the prison. However, he said he left the matter to the public administration to deal with. On the 10th of March, officials, authorities and professional institutions decided to leave the situation as is and forbade the party named from building on the disputed land any further while waiting for the law to decide. Lastly, we have a good news story. Kandal has been announced as a landmine-free province. This means that there are only 15 provinces left that are still threatened by landmines. In 2023, Cambodia plans to declare 8 more provinces mine-free, including Takeo, Kampot, Kampong Spu, Kampong Tom, Siem Reap, Krache, Mundukiri and Ratnakiri provinces. Experts had completed their mission according to the community's project on 2,554 square kilometres of suspected landmines and explosive remnants of war, and found and destroyed 1,153,217 anti-personnel mines, 26,135 anti-tank mines, and 3,034,727 explosive remnants of war, benefiting more than 9 million Cambodians. Those numbers are just staggering. Once again, we have reached the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you for watching. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon.